Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about choosing your curriculum and how to go about that. I do realize that it's the end of September going into October, but there are a lot of people who, if you haven't already gone through it, or maybe you feel like the curriculum you've already chosen is not for you, well, here I'm going to help you, and I'm so sorry that I'm late on this. It is okay to switch your curriculum in the middle of the year. It is okay to start homeschooling in the middle of the year. Hopefully, this will help you guys or help people that you know that are going to choose homeschooling. Okay, guys, if you don't already know, I am in New York, um, but you do need to know what your regulations are for your state or your country. So there's a lot of questions about accredited curriculums and all that. In New York, it really doesn't mean anything. You can absolutely use a program that's accredited, but you don't get a diploma because of it. It's not like it's specially recognized like in other states where you have to have a program that's accredited. It really just means nothing. An accreditation means just that the state or the district or wherever you are recognizes that. Unfortunately, New York just does not. So please be aware of that. Um, but no matter where you are, or I want to say specifically New York, because that's where I can talk about, um, you can use any curriculum you want, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. But before we do, we're going to ask a few questions, and I really want you to think about this. If you haven't already, please go watch my learning style video and my teaching style video, as well as my budget video. This will really help you narrow down things, but there's a few other questions that we need to ask about what your curriculum should be. Are you planning on doing an online curriculum? I mean, does that go with your child's learning style? Or do you want more of a workbook style? Are you religious? Doesn't mean that it's necessarily Christian, but there are Jewish and pagan, and I'm sure there's other religious curriculums out there. Do you want one of those, or do you want secular, or do you want to piece things together? Um, it's all completely up to you. There's also ways that you can unschool, you can create your own curriculum. Um, Again, just go back and watch my teaching style. That'll kind of explain how that all works. But there are a lot of different curriculums out there, and just because you want a specific one and it's within your budget, you're still going to have a few choices. I just want you to be aware that that does not mean that all of those options are best for your family. And that is perfectly okay. And it's okay to switch it up. So, if you need help narrowing it down, please feel free to ask me. I am doing consulting. Reach out. Happy to help. Uh, but here's Kathy Duff Reviews does a lot of different reviews, both on YouTube as well as on her website, that you can read a little bit more into it. Again, not every curriculum is going to be right for you. I know a lot of people go with, oh, well, this is the best curriculum. It may be best for them, but not for you, and that's okay. Anyway, moving on. What is a curriculum? The curriculum is the plan that you plan on following for educating your child. Even schools have curriculums that are based off their guidelines. There are a lot of different curriculums out there. Like I just said, there's no best curriculum, and not all will fit your family. Okay, as I mentioned, being in New York, you can use any curriculum variation of or create your own or unschool. As long as you meet the regulations. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you feel, there are regulations being in New York State. Yes, I know we are one of the top stricter states out of 50. It's like there's top six. So please be aware if you're not in New York, that is okay. Just be aware of your regulations. However, despite our regulations, hello, New York, we still have a lot of freedom within how we do things and what we want to teach. You still have to cover the core subjects, which is understandable, but how you do it and what specific that you teach, that is pretty much up to you. There's a few things that you have to cover within a certain length of time, but it's pretty easy to be in compliance. Okay, so I did mention creating your own curriculum. Like I said, there's other curriculums out there, but if you really don't want to go through that, here's a way to create your own. I have written this book, Homeschooling Through the Years, and it goes from preschool all the way up to 12th grade. And what is typically um, studied or being done throughout those different years through all the core subjects, you guys can switch it up. You can move ahead as needed or, fall behind a little bit. I don't mean like your child's going to fall behind, but I mean take your time. This is just these are just based on the national guidelines that are in the US. Every country is different. I find that this helps a lot of families, especially those that are wanting to go back into the public school system or feel like they need a guide to where their child should be. I do have resources up on homeschoolingInNewYorkCity.org. I will link that down below as well. Personally, I love the book. I mean, obviously I wrote it, but even though I unschool, I find that it really does help guide where I know that he should be, but I don't have to put pressure on him. I've also written Unschooling in New York State because I realized that a lot of people were asking, is there a book for this? How do you do this? Especially with all the regulations and considering we are big unschoolers. I thought, why not write a book where it's needed and really deep dive into how to do it with all the regulations and what needs to be covered. Being in unschooling, you have to get creative with what you're doing and how you write it up on your paperwork. Honestly, you cover everything anyway. Trust me, been here, done that. It's been 6 years of this, but I just felt like it was needed. So if you guys are interested in any of the books, I do have a third homeschooling book out there, but that's how to get started, which basically my webinars cover. They are on Amazon only. I do have ebook and paperback version, except for one of them, which is the first one I showed, which is the Homeschooling Through the Years. Trying to get that onto paperback right now. But feel free to buy it. That would support me. Thank you. And let me know like what you guys think. I really just wanted to help people, and I know it is because I am getting feedback, not to brag. But I felt like it was needed. I know that there are other books out there similar in style for other states. So if you're not in New York, feel free to go get those. Any way to support you. There are plenty of homeschooling books out there. I can recommend a ton that are not my own, that are great reads. Wild Free is one for unschooling. I think there's Brave something. That's really good, and I can't remember the name. But there's just a whole bunch of them. Facebook groups help, all of that. Anyway, I hope that all of this information continues to help you. And if you still need help, like I said, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm doing consultations. We'll figure it out together step by step. I do typically, when I do my consulting, is that we figure out your child's learning style, your teaching style, a bunch of curriculums should you don't want to like create your own or anything. If you want to create your own, I do help guide you through that. And then if you're in New York State, I will help you with your paperwork specifically, being that I am here and I've been doing this for so long. I pretty much have it ready to go. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and much love to you all. Stay safe and stay healthy.